Member Bannon, absent. Member Delaney.
Here.
Chairperson Fenster.
Here.
Member Herman.
Here.
Member Walker. Vice Chairperson Waterman Copa.
Here.
Member Hano. Clerk Beck is absent. Kephart present. Greco, Chip will be joining us at 7:30. CEO Palumbo, absent. James Quinn.
Here.
Present. And Liaison Meyer.
Here.
All right.
So have we had a chance to review the minutes, and can I have a motion to approve?
I motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
we have to take care of that again. Discussion, are there any corrections? Got them really early. I'm just saying, that's very nice.
My pleasure.
There are no corrections,
Good to me.
okay?
Fantastic.
Motion to approve again, right?
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion is passed. I learned that on C-SPAN the other day. Oh, this motion. Anyway. I'm getting there. It took me 2 years, so. So do you want to make the motion?
I would like to make a motion to go out of order and handle new business first.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion is passed. So our first motion is so we're gonna handle the window shutter colors and landscaping of 5586 Main. Do we have anybody here representing that organization? Okay, I'm sorry. Come on up. Sometimes schools don't show up, so you're all by
Put me under
yourself.
pressure now that you move to the front of the line.
Yeah, we're trying to give you some dinner time.
Okay, thank you to the HPC for allowing me to present this evening. My name is Brian Pimanowski. I'm the Director of Property Management and Construction for First Amherst Development. That is our property at 5586 Main Street, which is at the corner of Spring. Our intent is to basically give the building a much needed update and facelift. The building looked rather tired and old on the outside. The landscaping had become too overgrown. We previously had white shutters on the south elevation or the front elevation of the building, if you will. Those white shutters had been considerably weathered over the years and had streaked down the front of the brick on the building, which again caused the building to look a little tired and a little aged. And our thought process was that we wanted to update the building with the character of the neighborhood based on some of the improvements that have gone on in the historical block that's right adjacent to our building. So a few of the things that we're proposing is updating the shutters on the building from a older style colonial to a flat panel shutter, which is going to be a dark gray. We're proposing to also paint the windows, which are currently white. We're going to paint those we're proposing to paint those a dark gray as well to match the shutters. So it has a little bit of a monolithic look, and the dark gray kind of fits in with the contour of the rest of the district and the adjacent buildings to us. So that's why we chose the dark gray. In addition to that, we have already power washed the front of the building, which has cleaned the building up significantly since we power washed it. And we're also proposing to do a little additional painting on the front of the building as well. There is a course of cinder block that runs across the top of the building. That's been exposed for years. That has never had a finish on it. We're proposing to paint that a gray as well, which will match the shutters and the window frames. The other piece of the puzzle, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, was the landscaping. The landscaping was, again, overgrown and very tired. So we have contracted with a local landscape contractor to upgrade the landscaping and the look of the landscaping. If you look at your packet, I basically put together a landscaping plan and referenced it by specific pictures of the plant material that we'd be utilizing on the front of these buildings. So the codes that are on the bottom of the landscaping plan will match the codes that are on the photos of the individual plant material. So everybody gets a feel for the type of plants that we are going to use there. And really, that's about it. I think the other last item was our building currently has a white 5586 on the centered on the building between the second and first floor windows. We're proposing to change those letters out to a gray 5586, which will be in either the upper left or upper right-hand corner of the building. We haven't decided where we'd like to put it yet. But the character, the numbers that are there now, or were there, I should say, they were damaged and weather beaten over the years as well. So it was time to change the look of the building address as well. And really, that's all we're proposing to do at this point.
That's more than what was in the document,
In what document?
in the application.
There's no signage.
No signage, nothing about painting cinder block, definitely nothing about power washing. So power washing is a very bad idea. It doesn't follow Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation's prescribed methods. And you have a historic building, and it states in our code that you need to follow the prescribed methods as indicated by the Secretary of State. Sorry. So that's worrisome to me because I don't know what happened to the brick now. I don't know what standing your mortar's in. And that, we like to make sure that buildings stay watertight.
Right.
And it's probably damaged at this point if you use a power washer.
Well, we employed a company by the name of Fleet Maintenance that did a soft power wash for the building.
Still, soft or not, it is not recommended.
For educational purposes, what is recommended?
To follow the Secretary of Interior Standards Preservation Brief for Historic Masonry, which I believe is Preservation Brief 1, and it gives specific guidance about how to wash masonry. It is referenced, I believe, in the historic design standards for the village. I'll look right now.
Well, I didn't want to take it off. I just wanted to educate more than anything.
So in regards to the shutters, I know you're trying to, you said, I think, revamp the building, but changing the style of shutters away from colonial. The building's already been colonialized, and I believe that was in the landmark application. So is there an option from the architectural collection? What I couldn't find in that is the actual company that makes this architectural collection. Is the company called Architectural Collection?
No, it's called Atlantic Premium Shutters. And it's a flat panel. I'm surprised in the packet that I submitted that you don't have all this information.
You have the landscaping, you have the shutters, you have the paint.
This is the architectural collection, is that what you're talking about?
That's where the shutters are located, yes. And that is,
There's a company though?
Yeah, the name of the company is Atlantic Premium Shutters.
Atlantic.
Yeah, I think it's just, as far as I can see. It's a
Page 7. Yeah.
And
it's
the
page 7.
page on the
It does
address
say
signage is the
hardware
last
colonial
page,
style.
so I'm not sure. It's like the very, very last page.
Nope, that's the last page of my packet.
It's, but,
I have
yeah, but it's not in the, like, I only see 6 steps
listed,
here.
yeah.
For painting.
So the shutter details are right here. Yep, but it didn't say the name of the company, as far as I could see, correct. So I was like, okay, but I can't even look them up. Right.
Did you have that sheet correct with the shutter selection?
Yes, it just,
Okay.
it didn't have the name of the company, so I
Okay,
couldn't
understood.
check the specifications.
Okay.
And then the
I
painting,
did include the
scope did
specifications
not-
too,
what are the specifications? Oh, for the
for the
shutter,
shutters.
right, but I like to check myself,
Oh, okay,
just have it.
okay.
And then the Main Street exterior renovation painting project did not talk about what you were painting. It just was like a how-to. And,
Well-
go ahead.
In it probably doesn't show it too well in the photo. So I did create a photo that looks like this, that has the gray shutters and the gray trim around the windows. And it's also banded around the top, you know, that's shaded in a gray as well.
So you're referring to way at the top of
That is correct,
So are you banding on the back too?
just the side.
So what is this?
That is the Spring Street side of the building.
Okay, right. So you're painting black lines on that too?
Can I?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So what we're proposing is, there is a band that goes across the top. So that band would be gray as well, which would match the windows on the Spring Street side of the elevation of the building.
So what's this?
That's there already, there's nothing there, that's just brick.
Okay, so that's shadow line.
Yes, the shadow, yes.
Okay,
yes.
okay,
So we're not doing anything with that at all.
Thank you. It just, ours looks so different from yours.
Yeah, it looks, yeah, it
Ours
looks
is
it. It looks like
Ours
it's
is
painted
like
with
a
brick,
product.
brick.
Right. And I was like, and it was
I know, I
the
saw
same
the
as the
picture
color
of
that
it.
you did on the front elevation. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, that's definitely not our color.
Okay.
If I can just address the power washing for a minute.
Mhm.
So when I researched the website for the Village of Williamsville, okay, our building was not listed on the map for the Historical Preservation District.
Because you are, let me think, what
Oh, it's
corner
a
are you on?
non-contributing, it's in the middle, isn't it? In the middle of this historic district, but
But the
it's
map-
not, it's a non-contributing building though, it's not historic.
You're across from Share, right?
I'm sorry,
You're across from Share
Yes.
Restaurant? Yeah, you're in the district, right?
but the map that was on the website does not identify our building as being in the district.
It's an old map.
I don't
That's
know.
not up to date with the current list.
Yeah.
We can arrange to just have that taken down
Yep,
until we have
that's-
an accurate map.
But you did know that you're a historic district,
Well,
that's why you're
no,
here.
no, we
Or-
did know that. It was brought to our attention when,
Building.
James, right?
Correct.
When James came and approached us,
Mhm.
as we had scheduled our painters to perform the work, he had stated that at that time, the building was in a district and we needed to proceed with, the approvals.
Okay.
So, kind of a long story short is, when I did the research, we were not listed in that district according to that map. That's why we did not, put the application in sooner.
Okay, so this is not a local landmark. They're they're a non-contributing structure in the district.
Okay.
Now that I'm remembering,
Right,
the
this is
building
I wasn't sure if it was
was
contributing or not.
nominated at least once
Okay.
in the last 20 years, but the village board chose not to include it. Not to say it won't be included again or advised again,
Okay.
but that's the history. So it was nominated, the nomination did not go for designation by the village board, and it is non-contributing at this point in the district for that. So let's be clear about what a district is. It's a theme, and the theme of this district has to do with the mill. So it's the Williamsville Watermill District, Historic District.
Do we know the age of the building?
It's how many the nomination?
1960s, something.
Yeah, it's early 1960s.
It was a fire station.
No, it wasn't.
No,
It was the,
no.
No, it was a church, and they not demolished the church.
Oh, that's right.
That's what they put the office building.
That's right.
Church.
No.
church used to be there.
Church, it was the Baptist church, then moved down the street. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
While she's looking that up, is Mr. Oldwood still around, or is his family owned?
That map has been taken off the
Ben Owens
website,
is
so.
the CEO and president of our company. So he's still around. His office is right next to mine. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at it. Real nice gentleman to work for. His grandfather
That's
passed
right.
away a few years
That's what I'm
ago.
thinking of.
Yes. Yeah, I never had the opportunity to meet his grandfather. I've been on board with First Amherst about 5.5 years now, and he passed away years before the team board.
For historical purposes, because you know I love movies with history, for a brief moment in time, First Amherst owned the Glen right after the fires, and then they sold the Glen to the village in Amherst, and anyway, but, and then Mr. Oblitz also, I think, owned those properties that were part of the university off of North Valley there. I can't think of the name, but you've been there 5 years, correct?
I'm not originally, right?
Yeah, originally.
No, we no longer own that.
That's, but that you did.
Yes, years
Yeah,
ago, about
yeah.
10, maybe 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
I'm just chit-chatting while.
So the properties that we currently own, for your benefit, is we own the Amherst Health Center, which is at the corner of Harlem and Sheridan, right next to the exit or entrance to the 290. It's a 4-story medical building. UBMD was the primary acting of that building. We have what we refer to as Snyder Square Medical, which is where Buffalo IVF is located. We have Snyder Square Retail, which is at the corner of Harlem and Main. It is the New England style property
Mhm.
that is a mixture of offices, a little bit of retail, but mostly office. And then we have our building, which is where Brugger Bagels, is located. So we have that building and our office is directly above that. So
You
those
can
are our
still- yeah.
properties in Amherst.
You can still call it Bagel J's, because that's.
Yes.
Right.
That's right. So who are predominantly in this building? Offices, I'm assuming?
It's all offices. It is a combination of therapists, insurance agents, and college financing.
I have a question.
Yes.
I always have questions. So, I see you're gonna use, you specified SW, which I believe is Sherwin-Williams Bank.
Sherwin-Williams.
7076, cyberspace. And then I think you said that, so that's gonna be the trim for the windows, but also the color potentially of the shutters. But the shutters I see are Roycroft pewter. Do the shutters come pre-painted? Is that why they're not the same
Yes.
color?
Yes.
So are you just trying to get as close as you can to the same color?
Correct. So what we did is, so you are correct, the shutters are, I believe it's called
So I see Roycroft pewter.
Roycroft pewter. So we did a color match to Roycroft pewter with Sherwin-Williams.
Okay, so they're both the same, and then that's the color you're
And the
proposing
color that
to
comes
be
out
up
with
on the top
Sherwin-Williams
as well.
is the cyberspace. That's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, so all those dark grays will be the same shade of dark gray?
That is correct.
Potentially.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
I had a couple of questions
Sure.
too, just regarding shutters, is something I do know something about. Are the width of these shutters, it's important that they, obviously you're not gonna close them, but they should be wide enough that you you could close them, in other words.
Correct.
Okay, so you're
Yes.
taking care of that,
So
okay.
the spec on the
Appropriate
shutters,
scale.
I believe is 20 inches wide by 80 inches tall. So that is the height of the window. So the shutter width is 20 inches, which was there previously. That's why we went with this company, because they're the ones who have the closest width size of the shutters. And the height is gonna match the exact height of the existing windows.
So it's gonna appear, I mean, if you put a hinge on, theoretically, you could close it.
Yes,
I mean, you're not going to, but it's, I understand,
That's
okay.
correct.
Now, is this like a composite? I read, or is it all vinyl, or what is it like?
It's a
What's it
composite.
made out of?
It's
Because the
a-
shiny doesn't look very historic, if it's like shiny plastic.
It's not. So it is it's a composite. It is applied on, matte color paint that goes on that composite. And the composite is also, does not have the, let's call it the white, how do I describe it? So the thickness of it, if you broke the shutter in half, you're not gonna see white in there. That is gonna be pre-made dark. Okay?
Okay,
So, yeah, if you go to, like, let's say a Home Depot or Lowe's or something, and you take a look at some of the lesser expensive shutters, and if you take a razor and you scratch the paint, you're gonna see white behind it. Or if you crack it, you're gonna see white behind the paint. This is, it's gonna be a solid color all the way through. It's a painted process.
okay, and obviously you're not gonna have any issue with rotting, because they're not really wood.
That's correct.
Okay,
They're fiberglass.
fiberglass, okay. Let's see, any other question here? So, and you chose the recessed panel,
No, it's a flat panel.
flat panel,
It's
well,
a flat panel.
we just,
No, I should say it's a combination of fiberglass and composite wood. So the styles are fiberglass and the insert is the composite wood.
I just
If
didn't want you to have any
if
rotting.
you have an opportunity to take a look at page, it's numbered page 7, because that was the number that was in the brochure. But page 7, I have that panel clouded in red, and that identifies the style of shutter that we're proposing.
So the panels, like the squares, if you look right now, kind of look like there's that panel, but in fact, they're all flat, and it's just like a.
It's just like a little reveal around it.
In other words, there's a flat piece, and then the rails come out a little bit, or sort of framing it.
Yes,
Okay, that's exactly what I have in my house. So you have good taste. But, well, interestingly, my brother lives in Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, where they have tons of shutters, the ground floor would always have the solid panel because of security purposes. Sometimes they put the louvers on the second floor because that was for ventilation and
Sure.
there's less, but it's very authentic to have flat paneled things on the ground floor, but obviously you don't want to vary that here. Okay, just sorry to interrupt there.
So our main concern at this, regarding respect to the shutters is the style?
Well, I guess I have a general question and more of a legal question, which I should be able to answer as an attorney, but is if
5 more
this
minutes.
is a non-contributing structure built in the 1960s in a historic district. So when our decision on whether we approve this should be informed not by going back to some mythical age, because 1960 office building, this would have just been a very plain looking square building. It wasn't landmarked for the building, it was landmarked because it has other historic buildings around it that, it's a district that gives it the the relevance here for us. So I guess my question is, are we looking at these proposed improvements in the context of what's around it? Because I can't, I know what to do if it's a historic building. You just look back at what it, but this really isn't a historic building. It's a 1960s office building that they kind of colonialized. So I guess my concern would be just that it fits in with what's around it.
The character of the district. right.
Yeah, right, exactly, but
That's why-
am I
that's
right
why-
on that? But I don't know.
That's why we went with the darker color, because we noted that, I think it's Shares at the end of the restaurant. So I know they've incorporated, it looks like a bronze or a dark gray in some of their architecture with the expansion that they had. So we kind of played off that a little bit, just to, keep in flavor with what's going on in the area.
And the Eagle House there, even though that is historic, it has the shutters too. But, right, the building was in that period where they were trying to make it like a little colonial Williamsburg in the 1960s, which that's not either, but, that's, and it's, the other thing was that what was there, that can be a contributing factor, but it's basically an office building.
Right, so I found the landmark non-contributing property page for the district for this building.
Yeah.
So as we stated, erected in 1965, making it eligible for inclusion in the Williamsville Watermill Historic District, because the period of significance for the district is 1811 through making it ineligible because the period of significance for the district is 1811 to 1949. So there's an asterisk that says this does not preclude individual local landmarking at a different time. Lists the current owner, the past name is the Prudential Building, and of course it was the site of the demolished Randall Memorial Baptist Church. And then it just shows pictures of the existing facades and then the demolished Randall Church. So as a non-contributing building, we're looking for, making sure that, as Ray stated, that it doesn't affect the contributing buildings in the site, in the district. And then I think this is a unique case because it didn't fit the period of significance for the district that was nominated and accepted, but it is well over 50 years old. So, it's kind of a catch here. So I think, without the attorney present, I can't be completely positive. I think it's twofold. We're reviewing it as a non-contributing building, but also it is eligible. And therefore, if the committee, I'm not saying they are, but if the committee wanted to move forward with a nomination, if they felt strongly that this was inappropriate, then I think that would be an option as well, because it is eligible. So I'm just giving you your options.
But it is in the district, is it not?
It is.
So in other words, we have some authority to approve this, right?
That's why it's here.
Yes, it is, just to clarify, in the village code, it is still subject to the same certificate of appropriateness requirements, because it's specified as a property within the district, not just eligible property.
Right, I thought that's
So
what the.
whether it's eligible or non-eligible, it's still subject to the same review criteria. So I would agree with Kate on that one.
So what standards do they, right now I'm just stuck on the shutters. I think that's the major issue that we identified early, that it had a colonial look to marry up to that Mill Street tie, not street, the mill.
So there is a section in our historic design standards, masonry and concrete. It recommends not to paint it. As an architect, I would never recommend anyone paint masonry because it doesn't allow the material then to act the way it should, to perform the way it should. It provides a water barrier and traps water inside. If you paint the exterior, it traps water inside. The masonry doesn't allow it to breathe. So that's a red flag for me. We've already talked about the method in which it was prepped. I don't have a problem with putting new shutters up where if they're deteriorated, but changing styles, it's probably, the question is why, right? So updating the building, you know, I'm not sure that's an answer to a why question for a historic preservation commission. I don't necessarily have I think it's great that you picked a shutter that is the same size as what was there, because the intention, as Ray said, of shutter was to cover windows.
Sure.
So to make it look more authentic, I think that's great that you did that. So now the commission just needs to decide, I think line by line of the changes that he's proposing, you know, what's appropriate and what's not appropriate, if any.
To be clear, we're not painting the masonry, correct?
He is at the like the cornice, he's creating like a cornice at the
Oh,
top.
okay,
There's
that, okay,
there's
I
a
got
course
you.
of block,
Not the brick,
no,
the concrete or.
no, there's a
top.
course, there's a course of block that is just below the roof line that's exposed.
Is it like a cement block?
It is.
Okay.
Now, was the coping longer at some point and they shortened it up and that's why it's exposed? Because that's what it would seem
That's a
to be.
good question. I don't know, because we're proposing to paint the coping too. So the coping and the block would all be that solid gray.
So if you put a couple pieces of brake metal up there to kind of look like an extension of the coping, that would probably be more appropriate than painting the masonry.
Sure.
I mean,
we can
I'm
do
just
that. That's a
thinking
good-
out
That's a
loud.
good point.
I mean, it's probably cheaper, like, and there's no maintenance then in the future for the Spalding
Right.
paint, if it's just some brake metal attached in the mortar joints, you know?
Right.
I mean, I'm just thinking out loud. Because I guess that's what it was. The coping was much longer at one point and then they
I
shortened
mean,
it up.
that block, I believe, is about 6 inches in height.
So it was meant to be a cap, you know? So is it solid? It's probably a solid piece then.
I'm sorry,
It's
what?
probably solid filled or something like that, the CMU or whatever. you said.
Yeah, I don't know if it's solid fill, but they are 15 or 18 inches in width.
So this is what, does everyone know what coping is? So when you put on a flat roof, any kind of roof, and you kind of have to take the bendable metal at the top and you kind of make it so that it integrates with whatever type of roofing material is there. It's the part that goes from the roofing material over the edge to create like a continuous surface.
Right, so the
So,
water.
I'm suggesting to bring down that with like brake metal, so that's the stuff they make trim out of for like vinyl houses and stuff, like, so they do it on a big bed, comes in very long sheets, they break it, and I'm suggesting taking the same color as that coping material and attaching some pieces under that to hide, what they're trying to do with the paint is to hide the exposed block,
Right.
because the coping was shortened at some point by a contractor who was working on the roof, not looking over the edge.
Right.
Well, what color would the coping be then?
The same color, the coping's existing, so they would match with brake metal, whatever color that
Oh.
coping is,
Which would be great.
and hopefully not have to paint it, because that's where you go into trouble of maintenance issues, so
That's
just find
correct.
something that's
Yeah,
already.
So we would replace the coping and go with match as close as possible gray to that coping.
Exactly acceptable.
To you?
Sure. Yes, yeah, I mean, if it helps out the process, absolutely. Yeah, I don't see that being a problem.
Well, it sounds like that actually would be very, you said it was a little cheaper maybe. More
Probably to
practical.
install, just tap it up, they break it, tap it up.
Well, it's probably more expensive upfront, but then long-term, we don't have to maintain it, because we don't have to paint it again.
Oh, there's no more painting, right,
So
you're
there's
done.
no maintenance to it in the long term.
And then that carries around the entire building, right?
So would that look any different from your picture then?
It wouldn't.
Okay.
It's just a different material.
It's just a
Different
different
material.
material. So instead of the block being exposed painted, the roof coping would drop down about another 6 inches. as the same color as we initially proposed, which would be the cyberspace gray, or as close to possible.
And that would be like a matte finish, right? It wouldn't be shiny.
Correct.
Now, this is a really picky question, but looking at the windows, fine, we paint the trim of the windows, but then there's those, the fake snap-in grids.
The grids,
You're gonna
the
keep
grids are
those,
gonna
or
remain as white.
you're gonna say those as white, okay? Okay.
I seem to remember that at one point, there was an extension on this building, and I'm trying to remember where. Or that they had to change the door to the side, do you remember where?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it was, and it's, oh, within the last 40 years, I suppose.
It's been,
But I know that they had to, I think some of it was an accommodation for handicap accessibility.
when you look in the back, you're talking
Yeah,
about, it's
'cause they-
possible, I don't remember.
And the, because the parking changed a little bit too. But I think that yeah, I don't, so is there a lift back there or?
No.
So that's one thing on the list is the,
Accessible, yeah, and I think that,
and then we have the painting of the windows.
So
Well, that
you
makes
use
sense.
detail, because
Maybe
you've got a
there's
whole bunch of
supposed to
different
be a
kinds of
window.
windows.
Yeah.
So what are the current material of the windows that you have?
There's wood, and then there's the wood that's around the window itself. Okay, the window frame is wood, and then the window itself, the sashes, are either vinyl or fiberglass, one of the two.
And you're
I'm
planning
guessing
to
they're probably
paint
vinyl,
those?
yes,
And you've got some wood in the back too, because you still have some true divides back there, it looks like.
yes.
So you're planning on painting all the sashes and grids of the windows?
Not the grids. The grids will stay white.
Like, and by grids, what do you mean?
Talking about the actual grids, so there might be, I can't, actually.
Is it one of those like two panes of glass and there's a grid in the middle of them?
Well, the two panes of glass, those are, each pane is a sash. So the full sash would be painted.
Okay. No, I'm just thinking, I'm assuming these are double pane windows, aren't they?
I'm sorry, what was
These
that?
are double pane windows, aren't they?
Yes,
Double,
double hung.
well, the double pane,
Yeah, with the grids in between.
with the
Yeah.
grids between the two.
So you can't really paint.
Yeah, some of them, the grids are in between, some of them, the grids are mounted on the inside.
Inside with a snare, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
And are the grids only on the side windows? I don't see them on the front
Yeah, the
windows.
front is hard to tell here, this grids are not.
The grid should be on the front as well.
No.
No, it doesn't look like it. Those are just the,
yeah.
But the grids are remaining the color that they are. And basically you're painting the frames.
and the sashes, correct.
Is that an issue? They're not replacing anything.
So you've got different materials of windows. Vinyl does not accept paint very well. So how are you accomplishing it?
Well, I believe we
Saw the
have.
scope of work.
So in conversations with our rep from Sherwin-Williams as well as our painting contractor, they recommended their emerald green refresh acrylic satin. They said that that would accomplish what we would like to accomplish with regard to the materials on the windows as well as the wood frame. The other thing that you see here under number 2 for the painting project, that's the Loxon self-cleaning acrylic. Obviously, that no longer applies because we're not going to paint that block.
Okay, so So that, oh, that's the.
So number two would no longer apply on the painting project, because we're not gonna paint the block. That was the spec for the block.
And number one, right? The roof cap drip edge.
Yeah, so roof cap drip edge, we're no longer going to paint, okay? There is a small piece of corrugated, exposed corrugated deck that is over the side entrance. Very difficult to see.
On the underside of the roof.
On the underside of the roof, there's a
Oh, I
small
see.
overhang over the side door.
This thing up here,
Yes,
so there's an under
yes.
something, under-
There's
what is
there's an
under there?
exposed piece of corrugated deck. That was the original gray prime color of the deck, so we were gonna paint that as well.
Oh, okay. Same color.
Same color.
Yeah.
Are you gonna paint the door frame on the side like you're doing the window frame or no?
No, all the doors on the side entrance and the at grade entrance, those doors will remain as is.
That's like silver
There's a
color.
small piece of trim on each side of those doors that we're proposing to paint, the same color as the cyberspace.
Where is that?
The staircase door.
On the side.
So on the side,
Where's the
both-
trim?
742 Chip enters the room.
Was that all anodized aluminum? No, this is static.
Shitters.
Right, right there.
Mhm.
on that door.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
And they're white, okay.
So, because it's not on your scope of work here.
No,
So
it is.
3 is for corrugated deck above the side entrance.
So if you look at number one,
Mhm.
painting spec.
Yep.
It says prepare surface, prime and paint roof cap drip edge, corrugated deck over entrance and break form at lower entrance.
So that break form is what we're talking about on the smaller door on the far right.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
Which is really colonial detailing. What are they saying break form for?
because there's, on the side of that door,
Mhm.
that is currently break form.
Like brake metal?
Yes.
So are you just doing the brake metal and you're leaving the surround
No,
as
we're,
white?
everything around that is being painted.
Okay, so it's not the brake form at the lower entrance, it's everything at the lower
So it's the-
entrance.
The encasement, or-
It's the
Correct.
trim.
yeah.
Yes,
And what about that door? That's anodized aluminum?
Yes.
So it's not getting
it's not being painted.
I like your landscaping. I'm not quite sure, that's actually chipping. Do we approve landscaping?
landscaping? No, yeah.
Exterior changes to a
We're at
local
HBC
landmark
right
or
now.
a property within a historic district.
well, I think you'll get a lot more sun in those front windows. You take those giant trees down.
Well, if you remember, the trees were rather large. They were almost to the height of the building itself.
They're big.
And that garden has been changed a lot.
Well, it's been improved a lot. I
Yeah.
just remember it was
Yeah.
painted green asphalt.
Yeah.
With a little
Yeah.
tiny.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, the landscaping that was there, from what I could tell, well, it was awful because you couldn't even identify the, one plant from another because they had all just
those
grown
just go
together.
together, yeah. At one point, I know a troop of Boy Scouts was planting there. It's probably late 80s, early 90s. And it just kept happening.
Are there any issues with the caulk or the silicone caulk all around the windows or anything? That it's just maintenance. Okay, so number 3 is fine.
I'm sure that the building on the corner of Evans and Main was also told by some paint manufacturer.
Was also what, I'm
I
sorry.
was also told by a paint manufacturer, don't worry, this paint will adhere to your exterior material. And then it flaked off. Peeled off.
What building are you talking about?
The one that's green.
The one that's green.
They just painted it.
Yeah, that, oh.
I don't think that there was any thought to it. They
it's
just
like
painted
a
it.
beauty salon or something now.
There was just Main and Evans?
Yeah, there was
No-
no,
No contact. You know, they just did it.
vinyl was not made to be painted. It just has no properties that want to accept
So-
paint. So, I mean, are you roughing up the vinyl windows before you do this?
Well, that's part of the prep work for all the work.
Because it just says prepare, so we don't know what that
True,
includes,
no, I
right?
understand.
And because they're white underneath, when it flakes off, it's gonna be very evident.
Right.
I mean, if you were doing this experiment on white windows, it wouldn't be as unsightly if it didn't work. But it's black on white, so it's, if the screens, don't adhere, don't take to the paint and the primer, and the windows, and we've got a lot of different materials that you're saying, this material, this is, maybe do a test, and if it's approved, maybe test it out and
Mhm.
see what happens on a non-Main Street window, like
Right.
something in the back that's not wood, that was, that paint was made to go over. Yeah, that's the piece of this, I think, that's besides pressure washing the exterior of the building, the painting of the windows, a dark color, and if it fails, what it will look like in our historic district.
Well, it's our responsibility to maintain that. Which, if you take a look at our properties are very, very well maintained.
True. But we don't like to get into that maintenance fight with anybody, right?
Sure, that's understood.
But in addition to that, like I'm looking at the picture of the building on page 7, the one that has like the shutter samples. And that photo, I mean, it's not the one we're talking about, but that looks very colonial to me. And that has white window trim and black shutters. And so, but then there's other buildings further down Main Street that have the black trim and black shutters. So I guess the question is, do we want it to look more colonial or do we want it to look more like the buildings around it?
I guess one way to look at it is adding a white or keeping something white is not necessarily doomed to make the buildings look nice. 'Cause this looks-
Looks nice.
Yeah, this looks fine.
Yeah, it looks very nice. Looks very colonial.
Would you guys entertain black shutters with white, keeping the white windows? Like, if you want to fix them up and make them look cleaner and neater, or, keep it with the white, on the white, so if something fails, you'll have time to identify where it's failing, or, and take care of that as a maintenance issue, but then just put some very nice new black appropriate size shutters on the exterior.
Well,
building.
these shutters are very, very dark gray
Mhm.
as opposed to the black. We wanted to stay away from black.
I think sheer is great too, and it's all.
Yeah,
just
okay,
kinda-
all right, good.
We don't
I
want
mean,
that black.
I think your suit is dark gray, but it could be black, like it's
It depends on where I stand.
exactly. It's all about where the sun is, what kind of day it is, Yeah.
Well, our preference would be to go with the gray, but if if the commission decides that, in an effort for it to be approved, you'd like to maintain the windows as a white, we'll certainly entertain that and, we'll comply with that, absolutely.
That's my leaning, because we have a lot of different sub-base materials for these windows. And from the information you've submitted and looking at the spec sheet, I'm not sold as far as this actually being a product that could outlive us all. And so what is the maintenance schedule for that, for repainting and,
So the white that's there, is that the natural surface? And would they have to paint the white? We'll be back to
Well,
that.
there is a little, you said that there's a little bit of wood trim, right?
Right, there's wood trim.
Some-
So that shouldn't be a problem, but then the actual sash of the window
Yeah, the
is
actual
fine.
sash of the window, I mean, if you take a good look at the windows, they have to be at least 20 plus years old. So they are showing signs of wear, and that was one of the purposes was just to give them a refresh. So in any event, we would probably want to repaint those windows just to give them a refresh look, so they don't have the gray, the light gray or the yellow appearance to them.
so you
How
have to
old are
paint
your
the wood
windows?
regardless.
I'm
Paint them
guessing
white
about
and just see how it
25
goes.
I'm just
Use
wondering.
that as a test moving forward.
You're gonna have
Girls
to replace
texting
them.
Pardon?
I'm just wondering whether, because a lot of times, these vinyl windows, they don't really last.
Yeah, I mean, you are correct, at some point we will have.
I mean, we're just trying, actually, I know it's not getting off our field, but we don't want you to waste some money here, It's, I think,
If the white around the window paint, whatever you do with it fails, it won't be as epic as having it black. Okay, so we're there.
I mean, I think it looks cool the way you have it, but I think it would be easier to keep them white, just because of the vinyl.
I think we need to base it on more than easier. I think we need to have a reason for doing, or for proposing, if
Wow.
someone uses it in some way.
I think it looks more colonial if it's kept white.
And again, I think that was a question that was asked earlier, was the intent to maintain the colonial look of the building or to, have it fit in with the adjacent buildings?
I think that it's such a large building, that it almost stands alone, even though it doesn't, and it's apparent that it isn't the same as the Share building or the mill or the Eagle House or even the buildings across the street. And that to me says it represents itself in the style and the era in which it was built too.
That's the formal part.
Well, if it was
I
a
mean,
1960s colonial, then it would be white.
White, yeah.
It definitely, there's no question about that. And Victorian, I know sometimes Victorians, they painted all the little divisions black because they wanted to make it look like there was one pane, because it was more expensive to have a huge pane of glass, but a lot of people couldn't afford it. So, did you know that? So they sort of did this black in the middle just because it was like they didn't want you to look at those divisions, whereas it's funny, in the 1960s, people wanted the divisions. People put in grids to put in divisions. It's kind of interesting.
So if we go up and down the historic district, the majority of the windows are white. Eagle House has been recently, they just got new windows and they were approved to have a darker window. Share's first floor only has the darker window, and the Hunt building has a darker window. Everybody else has the white windows. And as far as right in that area, you've got Moorpat, you've got the Sweet Jenny's complex of buildings. The ones that have those shutters on them, they're all white windows with the black, dark colored shutters. So are we ready to make a judgment on that part of the certificate? So have we missed anything here? So we've got the top of the roof has been taken care of. The letters, I think that is a identification issue for the fire department. I don't really think we get involved in that.
The
So
number?
I would stay out of it. The numbers.
Yeah.
Chip, they want to replace the 3-digit or 4-digit number for their address. That's a fire department issue, right? We don't have to weigh in on that,
Right,
right? Not considered signage as something that's.
yeah, I mean, right, that's,
Right.
yeah, I agree with that.
So,
Are we okay with the flat panel shutters, or are we still discussing
I don't think they're original to the building at all. So I just don't.
Right, it does.
Yeah.
So I think that could be an easy give
Yeah.
to the applicant, especially if we're asking him to go back on his original plans
Yeah.
and keep the windows white.
that? Yeah, I
Although
think
he can
that's-
explore painting them.
Yeah.
I think that as long as, because of the maintenance issues, the
Right.
difference in materials that he's trying to cover, a whole bunch of, a myriad of reasons that we
Right.
would want to keep them white. Some people say colonial. Yeah, I think that's an
Yeah,
easy give.
it's a fair compromise.
And I think the black, I think that's an easy give.
Gray.
Or gray,
Gray.
gray,
Gray.
dark gray.
I'm okay
Dark
with that.
gray. And the landscaping, then, of course. Anybody have lots of
Landscaping's only
comments
gonna
about the
be better.
landscaping other
Yeah,
than,
if
thank
that's what
you?
it is.
Yes, thank you.
Everything would be better than what's there.
Thank you.
So,
I'm ready to make a motion if anybody
Okay,
wants. Is everyone ready?
Ready.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I think we can kind of approve this as submitted with amendments, and you're better at
Yeah,
those than I
do what
am.
you do.
So,
Here.
we don't have log numbers, but, so I'd like to make a motion for 5586 Main Street for the certificate of appropriateness for window/shutter colors and landscaping, so approve as submitted with the following clarifications and conditions. That the windows of the building are to remain white, and the applicant has the option of painting them a satin white as the HPC has recommended, that the applicant may install the shutters as presented in Exhibit A, that the applicant can install the landscaping as submitted in Exhibit A, that a change from painting the block at the top of the building at the coping will be modified to installing brake metal at the coping to hide the block in a color to match the existing coping around the entire perimeter of the building. In regards to,
Can I ask a question on
Yeah.
that, please? So if we wanted to change the coping to a gray, is that acceptable?
what color do you think it is now?
I think
It
it's.
looks like it's a dark gray.
I think it's, yeah, I honestly don't remember.
So would you face it the entire coping? So let's look at
Yes.
it. So it comes down probably about like 3 inches,
No, that coping comes down a little bit more, it's probably 4 inches.
4 inches,
Yeah.
okay. So would you flat apply it to the edge, or would you still tuck it underneath?
Tuck it underneath.
Okay, so you tuck it underneath, bring it down probably 5-6 inches, and then you're gonna see that seam. It's probably not super big, but if you're changing color, you're gonna see that, right?
Right.
So can you try to match it?
I can do that. Absolutely.
Because I think it's dark enough to like complement your.
Oh, that's way
shutters and
up.
stuff.
Okay.
And your jacket.
Okay, so as described, then the applicant will tuck the additional brake metal under the existing coping, color to match existing, and they'll bring that down to hide the block about, no more than 6 inches. The side entrances will remain white, but the applicant has the option to paint the north, east door surround white as he does the windows. And the corrugated metal at the southeast corner of the building can be painted to match existing or white. Match existing or white. Or
We had
the
initially as
color of the
the shutters.
coating, yeah.
Yeah.
The color of the shutter.
So this,
So hold on.
okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And this board will not consider the identification address numbers, proposed in this application. Okay, so I think that's it. So there's like. Seconded by
Second.
Patrice.
Yes, I was happy to second.
Do we want to answer his question?
So this, the door in the back, this door here, you weren't gonna paint that in an event?
No, sanitized.
Right, that is correct. The
Yeah,
doors
trim will be-
themselves.
The doors themselves are not painted, okay.
Correct.
But you were thinking, this is a wood trim up here that,
Yes,
So that's gonna be white.
above the door.
but since the windows are, yeah, okay, that should, yes. Okay, yes.
So we have a second.
Did you have something to say during our
I just
discussion?
had a question, and that would be, would there be any consideration to allow us to continue with the gray on the windows and and on the rest of the project as initially submitted?
What was the first part of that?
Would you at all consider the original gray spec that we had for the windows and for the east elevation surround entrance and have those, everything gray to match the shutters?
I would not.
I think the shutters were the concession.
Yes. So there's a motion,
The white trim.
it's been seconded, discussion's been had.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any negatives, nays? Okay, so that proposal passes.
Question for you on the address.
It's Patrice.
So if we went back, if we stay with the white numbers for the address, I believe that's probably wouldn't be an issue.
You
But
can do
because-
whatever you want. That's a fire department issue.
Okay, so then how do we address that so we don't?
I think the
Have
code just
conflict with the
references
fire
that you have to do.
You need to have an address, whether,
Okay.
I
It
mean, I
just
don't
means
know.
they're not gonna
Tony's
tell
gonna
you
have to-
what, yeah.
And the numbers will be illuminated
Oh,
because it-
that's not.
That's gonna need a
Well,
signage
no,
plan
I'm
then.
saying
Oh,
is
James.
There was
You were so close, buddy.
lighting, there was ground lighting there before.
Oh, is it, how is it eliminated? Maybe you should ask that.
Yeah, okay. So we're gonna have the lighting, the ground level lighting,
Not built into the,
not built into the building. There was ground level lighting there. That's just gonna shoot back up like it always did.
So is it existing or
Yes.
is it being modified?
Nope, it's existing.
Okay, then I don't think we have anything to say about it.
Staff from Village Hall can liaison to the fire department to ask about the numbers. I'd be happy to do that and stay in touch with you just to see what they say,
Okay,
if that's okay. Okay.
I just have one other question.
yes.
What's the back of the building and what's the side, the other side? Is there work being done there?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just the south elevation, which would be facing Main Street, and the east elevation, which faces Spring Street.
Okay.
Yes,
There's windows on the other sides, right?
that is correct.
And those have white trim.
Yes.
So it will all be the same.
Okay. I think we're good.
Okay, thank you for your time. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
Thank you for, the original meeting wasn't scheduled till the end of October, so I appreciate the effort that everybody has to bump it up a little bit, so thank you.
Hopefully you get this paint done before.
Yeah.
Snow flies.
Yeah. we all-
Don't say that word.
Yeah.
Just
I
make
know.
sure they're using existing mortar when they install brake metal and shutters and all of that, so they're not
Yes.
going into the brick.
Correct.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you need to write. And I have a draft email to
I'll do
Tony.
exhibit A in a minute after you've done that.
Okay, beautiful, and then I'll make copies. Again,
So going on to old business, the section house roof, Dr. D. Milton.
all right. So fortunately, Chip is here.
Why do you leave?
We need you because we need the specifics on how to ratify the
Well, just
consensus
make
that
a
was come
motion to
to.
approve it. I mean, it's after the fact, but
Okay.
I'm not doing anything different.
All right,
We just need to,
We talked about a grade, did you decide on the specific shade?
I believe cobblestone gray was the,
And what's the ETA on install?
before snow.
Snowfall? again?
Again, we're just, yes, that arbitrary deadline.
Give them a call tomorrow.
Yep.
There's not a lot of detail on the app, so I guess we'll just rely on our conversation of last time.
Yes.
I would just
Did you
pick
want
the
any
color and
clarification?
the product
Yeah.
and just state that that's the motion that you're approving.
That one's next. Yeah.
I'll start.
One beautiful
We just need to
historic
approve the cobblestone.
structure at a time.
Oh,
I think that was it.
Don't rush through my section house.
You're right. You're right.
so we're gonna, what we need is an
Getting
approval
the houses mixed up.
of the cobblestone shingle, that's what we're here for today.
right, these
Yes,
are the roof,
yes.
the shingles for the roof.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Which,
May I have a motion for that? Is that enough?
and James, did we hear?
Yes, I have one
Okay,
for approval, yes.
And it has the actual product that was,
That's what I don't have.
okay, that's all we need.
Are those
That's the most important part.
Like, did it say like the
Yeah.
the grade or the quality, or there were like there was good, better, best, right, if I remember?
Well, those specifics, I know you probably had some opinions on, but Ben's opinion was that any of them would have been a good option to go.
It was three levels.
So there's, okay, yeah.
so with,
Yeah.
it was,
So we were looking at this cobblestone gray, or this cobblestone gray, well, the better cobblestone gray.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that, do you want to pass it down? Let's make sure we can see it. Thank you. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
so
That sent me the-
Landmark Pro.
that was the watercolor picture.
Yeah.
Oh, did you get that watercolor
Yeah, I think, is
photo?
this it?
Let's see, it's probably the
I think
only.
Tori sent it to me.
Yep, that's the only one I'm aware of, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
That
that
would
would
have
have
cobblestone-y.
The watercolor we're talking
Oh.
about.
Cobblestone-y is an official term.
It's not.
Very official.
So it was a,
Very official.
well, they painted the.
She said, Eileen said that was
It's a little bit impressionist.
like.
It was a watercolor done by a senior.
Interpretation.
That's the actual.
That's my understanding.
Can you screenshot that for me? And then, we need to like, I can Photoshop it up and then, well, it's gonna be super small. What's the biggest like DPI we can get that image at?
I don't even know what.
Did someone take a picture of it? Or
Yeah.
from the art?
No,
So
no.
I
that,
can get it to 600 probably.
that painting, Patrice, if
Oh, okay.
Eileen can get the painting here, then yeah, we can
We can photograph
expand
it?
it. Yeah, then,
Perfect.
yeah, so.
So when I think a picture.
I just don't know where it ended up. I went and ran and looked for it in the mayor's office last time, but I know it was gifted here and I'm not sure exactly who
We
ended up with
haven't
it.
decided on the color.
Well, I think, yeah, so I think I texted it to you.
Thank
I
you,
know
perfect,
I'm
just
doing
got it.
it, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
So can I have a second on the Landmark Pro Max Def Cobblestone Gray shingle for the roof?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
so who made that motion?
Against? Okay, another motion.
Okay,
Look at us go. I mean, we're just,
and Ray
Rocking it out
seconded
now.
it.
Killing it.
Oh, yeah.
what I was worried about isn't here today, so that's. And then the final is the meeting house.
Yay,
My favorite.
okay. Another excellent, really detailed COA application submitted by village staff, so. Okay. So we are looking to approve the stained glass design, or you're looking to evaluate the stained glass design that's on the door itself, not the fan overhead. You're just looking for those panels that are actually on the door. Thank you.
This,
I appreciate your validation.
just want to be sure we're on the right page.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it's these round parts?
Correct,
here?
yes.
Yeah, what about this two up
Yeah.
here?
Are the two at the top?
Yeah, from
Can't
mine.
we just approve it all and then they can?
Yep.
You absolutely
Let's do
can.
that.
You absolutely can, yes. Okay,
It's tough
Yeah.
to
It's the whole
ourselves.
entrance way.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness for 5658 Main Street, Village of Williamsville, for the replacement of the front door and frame, including the glazing as depicted on Exhibit A. This is Exhibit A. This is Exhibit A. And that's the end of the motion.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
can't see.
Ta-da.
No,
All in favor?
all in favor, yeah, what, I said, aye. No nays, motion passed. So what are we talking about timing? I know this has become.
Yeah.
So the doors themselves are going in and then the glazing?
Pretty much, the doors themselves are already fabricated and they're just gonna, kind of plop it in.
Within this week, probably?
I would certainly hope so.
And then we have an ETA on the glass. No,
Not yet.
okay.
Mm.
There's been an issue with this already regarding when the historical museum can open because they have to move everything away from the walls. So, okay, that's all. And-
We're fighting the clock on CDBG funds too, so
Yeah,
the
and
time
you got
is,
lots of stuff
we
going on.
certainly have our feet to the fire. Yes,
Yeah,
there's,
You're spinning a lot of plates there, okay.
yes. If I can go pick them up tomorrow, I'd love them to go in tomorrow, but don't be-
So I'm just curious, you got a grant to do the stained glass, I kind of like shops, I just can't believe. I'm very happy.
Well, the whole door.
The whole door,
I'm
yeah.
just really, because this is really, it's going to be super
It's open to the public. It's a public resource.
expensive,
So
but
community development.
I know,
funds
it's
goes
my dream, so I know.
Specifically stained glass.
It's so little, so few
It's a
things.
historic property,
Dream about.
so it's going into the historic rehab.
Okay.
entranceway.
Gotcha.
So that's cool.
That was the official answer on that. Okay.
Any other issues
Fantastic.
to address? before
Yes.
so I just want to thank you
Correct.
so much.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
No problem. So
Taken
that's, yeah.
care of both the section house and the
Nice job.
so our houses
Nice job,
are in
James.
order.
Our houses are, they're getting there. Yeah.
They're getting
Yes.
there.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a small new business if I can.
Okay.
So the other day I was looking at our website, the Walkable Williamsville, and then a link to all our historic buildings. Like, is it possible that we could address at some point, like updating that? Just there's some buildings, I can't think of any examples, but it would say like it's this business, it's really not that business anymore, it's a different business. So I don't think it's a real heavy lift, but like, can we just add that as a project because Sophie doesn't have enough to do?
Right.
So that piece of it, the name is actually it was landmark.
Oh, so we have to keep it.
Well, I mean, I suppose you
Oh.
could add another name on.
So,
So
on, if you can look through the app, not the website, but the app on the historic properties and what they're named, because when we went through and added them there, that was when we either updated it to, because it's a walking tour, we either updated it to the current name of the building, or if the space is vacant, then it just holds the same name as last one, which is unfortunately true for a number of those office buildings. So,
When you put like in
Um,
parentheses, just to make it easier, like, like, but it's now called
Uh,
this.
yes,
that.
yeah. So on the app side, those are updated. I
What's
can't
that
speak
app?
to
I'm
the,
sorry,
that's okay. It's My Village in Williamsville.
Because we.
But the website is absolutely a priority for updating, and that goes actually to like the source of that data, which is the historic properties list, the map. And those are things that predate any of the current village staff. So we are currently coming up with a plan for how to reconcile all that information in a
Because the buildings are designated as the address, because
Mhm.
the very reason why they do change hands.
Right.
And so whenever we were initially walking around in cold December some years ago, that's the only way we had to notify, what was done. And, at that point too, there were a lot of tiny little buildings that may not exist any longer, that were
Yes.
like, 55 and a half. Yeah, so that was a discovery for some that thought that those buildings were still there and they weren't, so.
Okay.
So and we went, it was really, it was an intentional thing on one very cold January 1st,
Right.
Yeah.
So, and reconciling the addresses is something that we're working on too. So like the meeting house isn't actually like a property on Google that the village has ownership of right now. So I'm in the process of claiming
Well,
that. And
there are a lot of, in that area, so the Google Maps misidentified.
Yeah, yeah.
This is my house in Google.
Really? So you can submit feedback
Yeah, and I've tried.
and it's a lot, but it is like a critical mass thing. So after a while with a certain number of feedback,
When
there's,
you live in a house, nobody can find it, and they go right downtown to Pilot Field, the field formerly known as Pilot. That's a big issue, So,
So okay, at first glance, the website looks perfect. I think the website.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Oh, the app.
Up-to-date,
Okay,
then
good.
the website.
well, that would certainly be the case because the app was just something that I did completely separate from the website. But okay, well, thank you. I'm so glad. I'm really glad. It's labor of love for sure. So.
So, I'd like to call for an adjournment. I'm sorry, what?
So do we have an update
I'm
on
sorry.
the liquor store?
Okay, I
About
know.
what's going on with
Good
the
question.
Why you look at me?
We looked at.
They're looking at you.
Nothing's been filed to my knowledge, as far as a new
They had a
application.
stop work order because they took down signage on historic building, I know that.
Mhm.
And I believe
Was
that
there a
it was
lawsuit
in-
going on?
I think it was in court. I
Yes.
didn't know if that had been
I
resolved.
believe that was dismissed. I'll have to show you the paperwork. Yeah, Mark gave me the papers. I'm not even sure what
Yes, you
reason,
could share that, please.
but I will share that with you.
And yeah, and this.
What that means, 'cause I want that sign.
Okay, well, again, I don't prosecute, I'm the village prosecutor, so.
Do you, just for
I
the
don't get
sake of
involved in-
conversation, if that sign were like donated to the village, is that something you would entertain or
There were
just
multiple
purely for
signs
the
that were
sake
taken
of
down.
conversation?
There were
Yeah.
multiple signs that were taken down. So we just need to know what happened.
Sure,
And-
I'll get on that.
and they knew it.
So somebody took the sign down?
I don't know when I
Yes.
took it down.
Yeah.
Or
Two
the
signs were
song.
taken down, the blade sign as well as the wall sign.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So-
I believe 2 wall signs and the blade sign.
It's,
And then the tile floors,
Very much.
those are going to be gone.
Well,
Well.
we don't have any
Well,
jurisdiction
of
over
course.
the floors inside.
Well, it's part of the
No,
building.
it's
Doesn't matter,
it's
it's-
exterior.
Yeah,
It's
it's exterior.
it's at the stoop. There's tile.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Oh, on the
on
outside.
the outside,
Okay.
yes.
Where?
So if anybody
Yeah.
sees anything happening at a
in
historic
front of the
building, the responsibility
building
is to
with
call
patio
the
sort of?
police
Yeah, the
immediately.
porch area.
I
It's
used
a
wrong feet.
violation of the village
I
code
just ran.
for
Yeah.
someone to be dismantling or demolishing a historic landmark in the city, in the village of Lanesville. So the response is to call the police immediately. And then I would just pull out your phone and start recording who's doing it and what they're doing. And then after you get off the phone with
Well, what I will
them,
say, if they're getting written up and sent to village court, the only thing village court can, yeah, it's not my job, that's somebody else's job, but justice court, village court doesn't have any injunctive powers. It can't order them to do anything, and only fine them or throw somebody in jail. If the village wants to get an injunction to stop them from removing stuff, we'd have to file a civil action in the New York State Supreme Court to do that.
who would file
The
that?
village board would have to authorize me or somebody else to do that.
then I'm recommending for the village board, I'm making a motion to recommend to the village board that
So what,
It seems like within the past 2 weeks, you can't tell.
Who owns
what's
the building?
I
missing.
need an address.
was the building
Zephyr.
sold, I assume?
No,
No, it's the same owner,
No.
they're just, are they getting it ready for a new?
Well,
That's what
they
we-
were working on trying to demolish it at one point when they were doing the bank. And
Yeah, they've been upfront about it, they want to demolish.
demolish it, yeah.
Well, they have to
And the
apply, if
tenants
they
are
wanna
out.
demolish it,
so
they
they
can.
just
Yeah.
started.
Well, so they started
Yeah.
dismantling.
So, yeah, so that's the problem, I mean,
Laptop's gonna run out.
and I was just saying, the village court does have, I mean, like I said, they could be put in jail. So it's not like they have no powers, but they don't have, the village court can't issue an injunction. Only New York State Supreme Court can do that. So,
5511?
Yep, that's what I got. So I'd like to make a motion for the HPC to recommend to the village board that they move for an injunction for the property owner of 5511 Main Street as they are dismantling the building and they've removed 2 wall signs and a blade sign from the building and have not reinstalled it. And the building is a local landmark and eligible for the state and national register of historic places.
Second, anyone?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
What's a blade sign?
That's it.
So it's this one.
Oh, thank you.
Any
Yeah.
nays? No, motion's passed.
I will take this to the board. I'll notify the other members by email tonight and let them know.
Thank you.
It's just that this week, they did something to that building because it looks different again.
Well, they took all the, coming soon.
Yeah, that's
down.
true, that might have helped, because people are waiting, getting in line waiting for their liquor, so. Anything else from anybody? And I wanted to
Oh,
thank
did
you
they
all.
remove the liquor?
I mean, the
There's
liquor's
another thing.
sort of closed. Right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah, I was
you.
making a
joke, but it said coming soon forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, were they proposing another liquor?
No,
I'm
I don't know
sorry,
what-
okay.
Well, there's a certain law in liquor authority, is that you have to keep the liquor on site for so long, and then it has to be counted, and
Yeah, no, you need a
So,
liquidator's
I think
permit
it's
if you go out
long.
of business. Yeah.
past that, so.
Wasn't there drinking of himself.
So we adjourn? Do a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
No second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any, do you want to continue this? No? Okay.
Nice job, everybody.